Welcome back to Inkkery! We now have all 33 brand new cards revealed for Fabled, and in this video we're going to be picking the top 10 most impactful cards of the set. And it's going to be difficult as so many of these 33 cards I consider to be really great. But let's not waste any more time and get straight into my number 10 pick. Yes, so at number 10 is Ursula, Voice Stealer. Ursula is an Amethyst 5-cost Inkable with a free 4 stat line that quests for 1 and has the incredible ability Sing For Me. When you play her, you exert a chosen opposing readied character, then you may play a song with cost equal to or less than said character for free. At first when I saw this card I was worried this ability might be too good. However, for it to work effectively, the board state and the cards in your hand need to line up pretty perfectly, which would end up being difficult to pull off and might end up being a bit clunky. And I don't really like the fact that you're depending on the cost of your opposing characters to play the song that you want. So most of the time you're going to be singing free cost songs for free, which seems fair and nothing too powerful. Don't get me wrong though, there are some very strong uses for Ursula. One of the best cases for this card I can imagine is in Blurple, using Ursula to exert a big threat like a Maui Half Shark for example, then being able to play Into the Unknown for free on the Half Shark. So Ursula's our number 10, now let's move on to see which card I've placed at the number 9 spot. And it's Powerline, Musical Superstar. Powerline is a ruby, free cost inkable character with a Fox stat line of 4 free and has the ability Electric Move. If you've played a song this turn, this character gains Rush. So very much a ruby fox in that sense, which I'm sure will end up being important in most metas. Especially with Amber Steel aggro looking as strong as it does. The only problem with this card of course is for him to gain Rush, we need to sing a song. But with the 2-cost Powerline taking the stage, we may have a singer 2 on board ready to sing something for us, activating the ability. And it's really not the end of the world if we don't rush with this card, as we might not want to exert him anyway, and prep for the shift Powerline the turn afterwards. So in a way, number 9 of this list is all 3 of these cards, as if you're using one, I think you're probably using all 3. They curve out together really nicely, and I think the main decision with these Powerlines is what other ink do you pair them with. I for one am really looking forward to trying out Ruby Steel, singing the likes of Strength of Raging Fire, A Pirate's Life and Beyond the Horizon with these Powerlines. Okay, moving on to number 8 now, I have Minnie Mouse, Sweetheart Princess. I am so excited for this card, as some of you may know I love Amber Sapphire cards, and Minnie is so perfect for that deck, but I'll get into that in a second. Minnie is an Amber 4-cost Inkable Hero Princess with a 2/4 stat line and quest for 2, and has 2 abilities, Royal Favour, your character's name Mickey Mouse gains support, and bye bye now, whenever she quests you may banish chosen exerted character with 5 strength or less. If that word exerted wasn't there, I think this card might have been my number 1 card, but unfortunately the card does have to be exerted for this ability to work. If you don't know why this second ability is so good, it's because it synergizes perfectly with support characters questing, giving strength to opposing characters so they have 5 strength or more, then questing with Minnie to banish them, or singing the reprinted card World's Greatest Criminal Mind. I don't think the first ability Royal Favour is particularly strong, but I'm sure people will enjoy making Amber Ruby decks with the new Mickey Mouse Brave Little Prince. And who knows, that deck might end up being great, as if it includes World's Greatest Criminal Minds as well, it'll be really strong. So that was Minnie, let's move on to number 7, which is a card you may be surprised to see, but one I'm really excited for, Bobby Zimmerowski, the Spray Cheese Kid. Bobby may look simple, he's a 1-cost Inkable with a 1/2 stat line that quests for 1, but he has the ability So Cheesy. When you play this character, you may draw a card, then choose and discard a card. This ability we've seen many times before on other cards like Simba, Mulan and Cinderella for example. But the fact that Bobby is an Emerald card makes him so much better than you may have realised. My favourite use of So Cheesy I think will come in Amethyst Emerald decks, as we can use Bobby to discard a Pull the Lever from our hand very early in the game, and leave it nicely in the discard, activating the full potential of Wrong Lever. Also in a Lady and the Tramp style list we can use Bobby to discard a Lilo for example, or some other 2-cost characters that the Floodborn Lady can then bring back for a later turn. Or an incredible use of So Cheesy would be in synergy with another card we have coming up on the list later, which I may as well spoil, the Circle of Life. We can discard an expensive character from our opening hand, like a Clarabelle or maybe a Stitch Carefree Surfer, Then a few turns later, when we've got a bit wider of a board, sing together a Circle of Life to bring back that high cost card for free. So definitely don't underestimate the power of the Spray Cheese Kid. This card could be extremely useful in a multitude of decks. Alright then, on to number 6, which is another Emerald character, Max Goof, Chart Topper. Max is the first legendary of the list and is a 6-cost inkable Floodborn hero with a 4/5 stat line that shifts onto a max for 4 ink and quests for 2. And whenever he quests, you may play a song with 4 cost or less from your discard for free and then put it to the bottom of your deck instead of back into the discard. Now the reason I have Max on the list is because I think this ability has real potential for some really swingy turns. Essentially you can play the same song twice in one turn using Max, as you could sing a song with another character, then quest with Max, playing that same song again for free. Now what songs would be best to do this with? Strength of Raging Fire in Emerald Steel comes to mind, or maybe a Bee King Undisputed in Emerald Ruby, combining Max with Powerline cards. Or even something cheaper like a Sudden Chill to double discard your opponent's hand, that could be incredibly strong, especially considering you could do this on turn 4, meaning if you went second and your opponent played a 1 card per turn curve, they would actually have only 2 cards left in their hand, which can be incredibly disruptive, especially when up against those dock decks for example. The only reason this card's not higher on the list is I'm not completely sold on the shift targets for Max, as there's only 2 options and they're both free cost. This Ruby Max would feel pretty bad to shift on, as if you're shifting on 4, he's not even done anything yet and not made the most of the Singer 5 ability. And the Emerald Max isn't really a turn free card, as the ability requires an extra ink to get a song back to your hand from the discard. So this Max really has some potential to be one of the most impactful cards of the set, but whether or not it materialises well into a deck will be interesting to see. Either way, I can't wait to try him out. So we're now into the top 5, and our number 5 card is Lilo, Best Explorer Ever. Lilo is a 3-cost inkable steel hero with a modest 2/2 stat line, questing for 1, but has 2 fantastic abilities in Come On People, Let's Move, where you give all your other characters Challenger +2 when you play her. And also whenever you quest with her, your alien characters gain Challenger +2 and they can challenge readied characters that turn. I really like the alien ability and it will definitely have some great uses, with the set 8 Stitch being the most obvious choice, allowing you to challenge something ready to draw a card and gain a lore. But there's plenty of other alien characters this would also be great with. The first ability is the one I'm really excited for, being able to buff cards like Diablo and Cusco in an Amethyst Steel deck to take some nice trades and draw cards in the process. I think Lilo could definitely become a staple in most Steel decks, besides maybe Amber Steel aggro lists. Unfortunately, the 2/2 stat line does let the card down a bit, as it's not very likely this card will stick around for more than 1 turn. However, the damage would have been done by that point, and hopefully you can get nice trades off with both abilities. Not much more to say about Lilo, so let's move on to the number 4 pick. Just missing out on the top 3 new cards of the set is Dumbo. Dumbo is our second legendary in this top 10, and as one of the first cards to be revealed for Fabled, you may already know all about the 9th wonder of the universe. But if you don't, Dumbo is a 4-cost inkable Amethyst hero with a 3/3 stat line that quests for 1 and has evasive and 2 amazing abilities. Breaking records that allows Dumbo to exert for 1 ink, drawing a card and gaining 1 lore. And the second ability, Making History, which gives all our other evasive characters the same ability, being able to exert for 1, draw a card and gain a lore. And with less removal options in the game now, evasives will certainly have a big part to play in the meta. So we're probably already running multiple evasives in decks. And Dumbo being able to give them this ability in any stage of the game could really swing a game in our favour, as using those evasives to outdraw the opponent and trickle some lore at the same time could definitely be incredibly strong. There's some debate over when exactly Dumbo should be played in a match. I'm of the opinion turn 6 would be best in most decks running this card, as I think a most likely board state in an Amethyst turn 6 would be something like this, with a Genie and Elsa on board, so we could play a Dumbo, use our 5th ink to exert an Elsa, gain 1 lore and draw. Then, depending on the draw, decide whether we want to quest the Genie or ink and pay another 1 for yet another draw off Genie. So Dumbo really does have loads of potential in a multitude of decks, like Amethyst Emerald and Amethyst Steel with in-turn evasives like Smee or Genie. But there's also a chance this card could end up being a little overhyped and too slow in terms of tempo and retaining board control. So for that reason, number 4 seems fair for Dumbo. Right, we're now into my top 3 cards of Fabled, and the 3 cards I think will have the biggest impact on how the meta shapes out. And number 3 is Genie of the Lamp. Genie is a new auto-include for most Emerald decks. He's a 4-cost inkable, much like his namesake Wish Fulfilled, with a 2/3 stat line that quests for 2. He also has evasive, so would fit in a Dumbo deck nicely, and has the incredible ability, Let's Make Some Magic. While he's exerted, our other characters gain +2 strength. I think the use of this ability I'm most looking forward to is a Genie on 4, followed by an Elsa on 5, questing with the Genie, and now Elsa hits for 4 strength. Not to mention this ability will also be great to buff up those characters like Diablo, Cusco, Bobby Spray Cheese, or any other 1-drop for that matter, to trade up and take control of boards. The uses of Genie are seemingly endless, and I expect to see a lot of this card going forward, especially with this incredible Enchanted. Moving quickly on to my number 2 pick for the top new cards in Fabled, and it's the Circle of Life. The Circle of Life is an 8-cost inkable sing together song that has a simple but extremely powerful ability, play a character from your discard for free. Now, if you're not sure where this might have some use, let me explain with this example. You're playing Amber Steel and are on the play. Turn 1, you play a Mulan and draw a card, and then choose and discard Mickey Mouse Giant Mouse. Turn 2, you play a Troubadour and quest the Mulan if you want to offer a trade for your opponent's 1-drop. Turn 3, you play an Aurora Waking Beauty. Hopefully your opponent has no way to remove Aurora or Troubadour. So then turn 4, you can sing together and bring back Giant Mickey for free. This deck could also contain other discard options like Doc or Beyond the Horizon to get expensive characters like Mickey or Stitch into the discard and then play them for free with Circle of Life. The fact this card is inkable too makes it 10 times better, as even in games that this combo doesn't work, you simply ink the card and look for other lines of play. Like I mentioned earlier, this song also slots into Chernadog style list perfectly with the new Spray Cheese Bobby, Amber Singers, and expensive cards to play for free like Stitch, Clarabelle, or maybe a Basil. So that's the Circle of Life, and by now, if you're familiar with some of the card reveals, you may be anticipating the number 1 card. And that card, and my number 1 card for the most impactful new cards for Fabled, is Nala, Undaunted Lioness. Nala is a 2-cost uninkable with a 0/2 stat line that quests for 2. However, has the ability Determined Diversion. While she has no damage, she quests for free and gains resist 1. The reason I have Nala in my number 1 slot is I truly think she'll be played in most, if not all, steel decks. If played on turn 2, it's very unlikely she'll quest for anything less than 3. And she finds her perfect home, I believe, in Amber Steel Aggro, which is poised to be one of the top decks in the upcoming meta. Here's some examples showing just how good Amber Steel with Nala can be. You can do turn 1 Daisy, into Nala, into Lady and Penny, giving Nala an extra resist and potentially healing her too with Penny. Or Rhino into Shift Rhino, Lady on 3 with Nala, and Pluto on 4. Or even Rhino, Nala, Tiana, Shift the Rhino, and another Nala on turn 4. The consistency and power in these lines of play is scary, and Nala is the top of the list as I really do think she's the card we're going to see most of going forward. One more thing about Nala is she's an ally, so synergizes really well in ally decks featuring Jasmine from set 8. This card really does have so much range and will definitely feature in plenty of decks, so is very deserving of the number 1 spot. But maybe you disagree. What would your top 10 new cards from Fabled be? Let me know in the comments, as there's plenty of fantastic cards I've not included in today's list, like Aurora, Powerline, Mickey Mouse, Max Goof, Standout, Family Fishing Pole, Cruella, and so many more exciting cards coming to Fabled. Very soon I'm going to be ranking the top 10 reprints coming to Fabled, so if that's something you'd like to see, be sure to subscribe to the Inkkery channel, and if you enjoyed today's video, a like would be very much appreciated. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.